And we are live. Hello everyone, this is the Void Executive and welcome to the stream. How is everyone doing? Hope this Friday and this week in general has been pretty nice. Quite excited today. For me it has been a very chill week. Today I think it will be a particular day because I am confident that we'll manage to complete the 7th supplicant of the main project that we've been doing for these past 3 months. After that one, we will start working immediately on the 8th bonus mask. We'll do it by making some research first. Of course, that depends at which hour we'll finish this. We'll finish this current drawing. So let's see our current progress. So we started this one on Monday. And we'll probably finish it today. Now the colors are very rough, but it's just a matter of building on it, adding details and stuff like that. A bit small announcement. I started working on the 100 subscriber special. The video will be very short, but it will be in lore and simply something simple to say thank you to everyone who has joined the company, as it's about to reach 100 employees. Well, what can I say? There's only one way, and that way is forward. So I would say let's not chit chat any longer and we start working. There we go. Okay, let me fix it. Technical problems. Let me fix it right away. There we go. Okay. There's also something that I noticed. If we'll manage to finish this drawing over here and start doing research of the last mask, We'll be using Pinterest as we've always done, but they did something to Pinterest. And the UI is a little bit different, but for some reason it doesn't work on the browser that I always use, which is Opera GX. So if we'll get to use the references in the research, and you see a different browser, which will be Edge, Microsoft Edge, that's the reason. Okay. So we were over here, starting the basics in terms of shading. I think we can start from here and continue on. Coming together well? Thank you. Even if it's just a very early stage. But we are about to run out of things to draw in this particular project. There's not much left to do after this one. We will need to do a mask, something like here, but for a new character. Then do the minion equivalent, just like we are doing right now, and then a couple of minor things that are unrelated. The feast, indeed. I will need to check the description, because it's been a while since I last had a look, and maybe something changed, so I will need to look at it, which will then determine the type of references that we'll need to look at. I go making sure they have enough to eat, and then he goes and eats it all. Fair enough. Also, I made some changes to the stream. Now you should notice that I am able to reply to your messages much faster. I had to tweak a setting in the YouTube stream, which now I should be able to reply in a much faster way. Okay, so I want to do in this area, I want it to be relatively light in terms of color, with some of these pink or red streaks. But my wife fixed too, so that should help. Nice. So let's just do something like maybe this shading, something relatively bright, although I need to be a bit careful, because the idea is to have the light come from here, so I need to be careful with the shading over here. So maybe . something along those lines. And then the brighter side, let's make it this bright. So technically this area over here. Okay. So the colors are pretty much already present because we are using the main god as a template. It's just a matter of making the different shadows look right. Okay, and maybe over here make it not as dark. So the darker area over here is something this dark, so which is like here, okay. And then maybe this area should be of this gradient. Yeah, kinda. Let's try and... wrong thing. Let's change some of this one over here. Of course, this area will be much darker compared to the rest, but I want to give it some depth. Then adding some shadows to differentiate the different petals. Add some shadows. So the light comes from over here, so the shadow should do something like this. Okay. Let me do something that I haven't done before. I will add like some sort of orb over here to remind myself that this is the source of the light. So I'll do something like Okay, so this is the light source. It won't be present in the final result, but it's just to remind myself in order to establish the direction of the different shadows. So it would be something like so, or that would be the light. Okay, now it's a bit in the way. Let me remove it for now. Let's check the values. Yeah, it's still all over the place. I think the area that will give me the most headaches will be this one, because I want to make it look right. So I can try and maybe okay, do the same thing over here, make the shadows a little bit green and the highlights a little more yellow. And I think for this one, I think I will make these glowing petals a separate layer. And maybe make them above the sketch as well, so we'll be able to edit the shape however we want. So we duplicate, place it in front, and then make some adjustments. And then maybe remove the part of these petals that's underneath. Okay. So I'll try to replicate what happens over here, so the petals should be much larger. Okay, something like that. Okay. Now let's lock the layer. Yeah, of course we need to change the shading in this area, because of course I'll need to make this bottom part brighter and this top part darker. So let me try and do that already. See if I can have some something effective. Nope, let me try. Color like this. Nope. Oops. Okay. Okay, let me try this one instead. We remove the color altogether and then try and change the colors. Okay, kinda. To make it the same color, we do something like this. Okay, it's a bit better. Without it was, yeah, kinda meh. Let's duplicate again. Now we can try and add some shading. These very bright spots will be here on the bottom. And the darker areas on top. Now, of course, we need to change this area beneath. Let me see if a simple multiply will fix it. kinda, but let me make it a different layer, just in case. I will do something like this. And then with the mask, I will remove the unnecessary parts. Okay. Way better. Now we go back over here and change these colors. Yeah, I think it's something. Let's go back over here. Before, let me smooth things out in this area. Maybe let's try with the softer brush. I don't think that's necessary. Okay. Let me see if I can blur this mask. I don't think that's necessary. Let's check the values. Okay, okay. Now let's flip the image just in case. It's taking a little while because this file is getting very, very large. Okay. Let me check some of the references. Maybe I could. something like this. Although this means I need to change this sketch as well. Just roughly speaking. Let's see. Actually, I think this sketch can also be kind of removed, or at least colored in a way that's not as intrusive. Let's go back over here. And add some slight light where it's needed. Hello wolves, welcome to the stream. Today we are probably finishing this supplicant over here, which means we'll conclude the 7 supplicants, the 7 base supplicants of the 7 main masks. If there will be still some time after I finish this one, we'll dedicate some time researching, grabbing references for the 8th mask, which we'll need to create from scratch. Right now we are focusing more on making the lights work as intended. Excited, this looks amazing so far, thank you. There are many things I want to readjust, but that can be fixed pretty easily. For instance, let me remove some section of the sketch. Especially these parts over here. There we go. I will darken these areas on the bottom. a little bit more over here. Let's save just in case. What I want to do is change the shape of the hood, because I'm not really satisfied with how this one looks at the moment. So what I'm going to do is the same method that I used with the drawing that we finished yesterday, which is simply we'll grab every layer of the character that we want to change, we merge it, and then we'll use, let me do something first. Full screen, there you go. I finally started work on animating a Japanese song I like, and halfway through putting in the lyrics, from what I could read, I realized I was putting in the wrong verse, so I have to redo that. Oof. Yeah, animating can be maybe weird because it takes a really long time. It's not important, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, it's good, it's good. Okay, so now you should be able to see. What I'm going to do is I made an entire layer that's duplicate of all of the separate ones over here. And the reason I did that is because now now you should be able to see what I'm going to do. Use this filter called Liquify, which will allow me, I have my references for the shape of the hood more or less over here, and I will try to obtain something similar. So I'll make the brush very large, maybe make this one a little bit smaller, and then try to give it a more unique shape. Or at least try to change it in an interesting manner. I think it will naturally make it also more organic, given the nature of the god it's referencing. Also, I think this area needs to be something like so. Okay, let's see how this one looks like. Not really. Let me try again. What if I simply change one side? Although I want to make it not as triangular in terms of shapes, because that's not how hood should work. Because this is basically the shape that I want to give. So maybe something like so, and this one Okay, let's try this version. It looks okay, but let me see how big it is compared to the other ones. Yeah, because I think it's a bit too big. Okay, now let's skip this one. Saved. Now we go back to the main layers. We make a duplicate of each. And then we apply the same filter. And it will shape it how I did it before, but only for the layers that I want. In this case, it will be only the hood. Liquify. Liquify. Do the same for this one over here. Oops. I think I did something wrong. Let me do it again. Let's turn all of these off. And repeat. So we'll liquefy this one. We'll liquefy this one. Oh, in the meantime, let me... there you go. Okay. Now we go over here, repeat the same process. Same over here. Do same thing for the sketch. It's a bit tedious process, but it's very effective. Okay, because now it's like the hood is the same shape overall. Do the same for the mask. Okay. Now we have another problem, which is the size of the hole is maybe a bit too large compared to the others. As you can see, with the others it's much smaller, so we'll need to think about that. Now we could do it in different ways. Let's try this one. Actually, yeah, let's do. Where is it? Okay. Let's merge this one with these ones. So let's bring this one on top. Let's merge it, because now we have the petals that are around the rim, and then we maybe try and resize those. And then do the same. And for this one, I think we need to adjust a few things. Okay, I think it's a little bit better, but then of course this area needs to be changed. Same for this hood section. We simply fill in the gaps. And since I'm here, we do something like this, then I'll change it later. And we can remove this sketch. Okay. maybe this area needs to be in complete darkness. There we go. Maybe I could do something like adding a second, as if they were two flowers merged together. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah, maybe something like this. I think this can work. Let's merge it. Okay. Before we continue over here, let me develop further this area on the bottom. First, let's flip the canvas. Okay. Now, for the me do this butterfly over here. The way I did it over here was using some light photo bashing, so let me do just that. I will grab a simple butterfly image. Separate the element from the background. Okay, let me do like this instead. And then simply try and make the sides match. Actually, let me do something like this. One. Number two. Number three. And number four. There we go. And now I will try and make it as similar as possible. Okay, that's number one. That's number two. Number three. And number four. Okay, let's merge it all together. I don't remember the type of blending mode that I used, but I do remember the color. Was something, let me try to match it. Was something like that, and then I think it was on overlay, although I could be wrong. Let me see if I can remove these darker spots. Okay. Let's grab these colors and simply, oops. Okay, I remember that there were some parts that had some small hue change. Let me see. Yeah, which was a bit more towards blue. Okay. Shadows. Make it something like that. Right now, wait, I think we can remove our butterfly over here. Right now, of course, the shadows between one object and the other, they are completely not interacting with each other. I think now we can start working on that. Let me see. I think this part below needs some improvements. So we make something like so. And then the area below we make it naturally darker. With the area over here being the darkest. Okay. There we go. Now we add the shadow in this lower area as well. Let's check the values. This part needs some fixing. And let me try again. Yeah, kinda. This area maybe needs to be darker. Maybe with a softer brush. Welcome to the stream. Today we'll probably finish this supplicant over here. Making some adjustments and trying to make it so that the lights and shadows work as intended. Oh, maybe I could try something nice. Maybe this element over here. Let's place it on top. And this will be the source of the light. Maybe flip it vertically. There we go. Now we make it look more three-dimensional with some shading. Now let's see how big or small we can make it. Okay, so now we have our origin of the light, and we need to give proper lighting to everything else accordingly. And this area let me do something like, there we go. So this is the entirety of the hood. Yeah, let's try and make and merge it all together. Okay. Okay, I think it's much better, although maybe a bit too too dark. Or maybe not. I mean, we need to make everything else a little bit brighter, because this should be overall a positive character. So we could do something like maybe some soft light on top of here. And make it a bit lighter overall. And maybe down here darken certain areas and lighten others. Same over here. So we lighten over here. And then add shadow in this area. Let's see. Much better, I would say. With maybe some small little changes. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy, because this image will be made small anyway. Okay. What else? What else? Let's check the values once again. Let me check the comparison with the others. Even in values. I want to make the hood more colorful. Let me see if I can do some changes in that regard. Maybe color? Nope. Let's see. Maybe in overlay? No. Yeah, maybe something very, very subtle. Want to be something like, yeah, like a soft pink or something. Especially in the parts with some light. Maybe nothing too extreme, but add just enough to make it less boring, let's say, and more flowery like. Okay, kinda like it. Maybe tune it down a little bit. Maybe save it for only one side. Let's see. And then have this color here for the stems behind. So make them brighter. Then these areas which are very dark, they will be highlighted like with every other supplicant with the contour. Okay. Now let me flip the image, and since we are halfway into the stream, I will do a very small break, 2-minute bathroom and water break. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's get back to it. Okay. Now, the lighting, I think it's there. But I think I can make this one even brighter. At least on the bottom part. It's already brighter like this, and I kinda like it. Although I think I can do even better. Then I think I will change some... Actually, let me do it right now. Just to see. Let me change the shape over here to emphasize the idea of it being two different flowers fused together. And then something like so. Okay, we are getting there, but I think there is still room for improvement, especially in this area over here. There we go. And here have a very harsh shadow. And maybe something over here as well. Okay. Let me do another pass on this weird hood and try to make it even brighter. Let's see how it will turn out. Okay, it is more similar in terms of values to this one. However, yeah, let me do it. Let me see if I had some special effects on the supplicant in terms of haze. Not really. Okay, now there is one last thing which I think is very important, which is the shadow cast from the butterfly onto the hood over here. And it will be something like so. There we go. Maybe this one, something more in this position. Okay, let's try before and after. Let's try the same with the values. Okay, maybe I need to make this butterfly brighter in these extremities. Let's see if it's better. Okay, yeah, it's better. And now let's make another multiply layer to darken over here. Maybe with the, oops. Okay, let's see before and after. Now let's see, without any shadows, with the shadows. Let's check with the values. Okay, it looks much better like this. Now it's a matter of adjusting this shadow in particular. And maybe, let me check how it would look like with the simplification layer. A bit too much. Because this one, if I pick this color, I mean, it is dark, but there's a lot of bright spots over here. Because over here there is a clearly bright spot. Maybe I could try and do try something. Just trying some things, see what works, see what doesn't. Right now I'm adding the same type of streaks that the god has. Let me do it again. Maybe make it internal. Yeah, maybe it can work. Okay. So we lock it, and then let me remove these ones. Okay. Then maybe doesn't really work unless I make them kind of part of the the petals. Let me check some references. Because I may be adding too much stuff. Needs to be pretty basic overall. Let's remove this sketch of the body. This is how it looked before. This is after. Much better, I think. It looked kind of fat like this. This one is much better. Let me see if I can still balance some colors. Maybe make it more green, just slightly. I think I am missing something, yeah. Yeah, I think right now it's a matter of adding polish on the different areas. So let me try and just merge everything together and try to fix things from a single layer. Oops. Let me turn off the layers that are not needed. Why does it do that? I am not sure. Okay, let's first do this one. And then okay. And now we work from here. Let me check the other level of detail of the others. See if I need to do something in particular. I think I need to work a bit more on the brush strokes. Even though it wasn't that present over here. There we go. Maybe with this brush it's a bit better. There we go. Yeah, let's say that maybe this has been one of the most challenging ones so far. I think that for every supplicant that we've been doing has been overall the same level of difficulty of the god it's referring to, because they share so many similarities that their struggles in making the right colors and right elements kinda translates from one version to another. Okay, let's pick this one. Darker like so. Let's add this same level of red a little bit on here. Maybe not too much though. Okay. Almost there. I think we are. Okay, I'm noticing that this file became very, very big. Let me save it. There we go. I'm still not too convinced. Okay, it's making me save in a different format because this file has become so big because of all of the different layers. Okay. Let's add a multiply. And do it. Over here. Actually, let me do a separate layer. Okay. What else? I think it needs to be more. There needs to be some sort of gradient compared to the bright and less bright area. So maybe I can try something like try to flatten some areas of the shadows so there isn't as much contrast compared to the rest. Okay, let's try before. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Although we can still apply some changes where necessary. Okay, let's try with some multiply. No, I don't think it's necessary. I think we are I'd say basically done with this one. Maybe just a few more changes, but overall we are reaching a conclusion for this one. Let's flip the image one last time. Let me see if I lower the contrast. Let me do some color lookup. Maybe this one for the shadows. Okay, let's try this one. And then I don't think that's very necessary. Okay. Now, let's see. We need to increase its size. We simply, this was before, this is after. We can remove this placeholder. Let's make a copy. Smart object, we scale it up. And now we can try and see the overall size compared to the other. I think this one You know what? Okay, let me try and make an experiment. Because for me it looks different from the others, because each one has this very dark, faceless void. This one not so much, so I think I would want to improve this area and make it more similar to the others. Let me try and fix that. I know that we spent some time working on the interior over here, but I think that we need to make it more consistent with everything else. So maybe let's try with something like so. Then okay. Yeah, I think this one, like this, is much better. Much more readable as well, compared to this one. Now let me try and do maybe the same thing on this side as well. Yeah, I think this one is the solution. Because now it's more similar to this one, which has a little bit of gradient, but there is still a pitch black face, which is more in line with all the others. And it makes everything much more readable compared to this one, which kinda confused everything here in the middle. Even if we go to the values, if we do it like this, it's much better. Yeah, pretty satisfied with how this went. Yeah, I think there is only one last step to make. First, let me do just a few more adjustments that are kinda bothering me. Okay. And now we add the colored layer. Let's make it this color temporarily. So it will be highlighted and the shape will not be lost with the background. There we go. Then of course I will do the appropriate adjustments. Make sure that the edges are smooth and coherent. For example, we're here. Over here. Okay, now let's change the color. Yeah, maybe something like this, or we could make it like a pink. Yeah, why not? Or maybe red. Something in between. Let's see which one may work best with the reference. I think yellow can work. Okay, now, wait, let me adjust some more things. The moment of truth. We'll place it in the template and see how well this one looks. After. There we go. Now we turn this off, we turn on the game test. Ease of blooming fields. And we add the two masks and see how it will look like in their final result. First one. Which will be over here. There we go. This is number one. And then this will be number two. Okay, so this is how it will look like. And with that, we have completed 7 gods and their 7 supplicants. So let me quickly do a recap. Let me create a new file. I will call it wait, first let me make it horizontal. I will make it gods and supplicants. Let's make it a generic gray. So now I will do some sort of rearrangement to see the progress that we have made, especially for those who are new. So let me open the so I will import the gods that we made and then place their corresponding supplicant. There you go. Okay. And now I will do let me see. Okay, no, I cannot do it with everything. There and there. So, in no particular order, these are the different variations of the god that we made. Each mask has a different power and abilities. Okay, maybe let's put you here with the others. There we go. go. And then okay, so these are the 7 masks that we've made. The Lady of the Autumn Rose, the Niece of Blooming Fields, the Painter of Winds, the Patriarch of the Sun, Reaper of the Equinox, Steward of the Hoarfrost, and Uncle of the Harvest. And now I will place their minions below to show you the correlation. First, that's the second, wait. Okay. That's another one. That's another one. Object. That's yet another one. And lastly, this one over here. Let's bring them all together. Maybe I can, let me see if I can align them. So let me make sure they all in line. And maybe do something like so. Good. There we go. Okay, and now let's place them here. Let me see if I can rearrange them in a more efficient manner. I mean, I could just do this. Okay. Okay. On layer. It's all coming together, indeed. Now we can make the different comparisons of these different assets. Although they are not finished, because there will be an 8th mask that we need to design from scratch. We'll do the mask like we've done with the gods, and the minion like we've done with the different like we've done with the different with all of the other ones. Okay, let me see if I can, let me align them properly. Okay. Now I think I can make the gods a little bit bigger. What's the 8th mask? Let me check the name real quick, because they wrote it in the document. The name is, I will tell you immediately. The name is so many pages. The Lord of the Feast. His mechanics are setting up a powerful, aggressive human empire via unique Fey Blood mechanics that grant them unique challenges and actions to give them a leg up on the competition. However, this empire is not inherently enshadowed, possibly becoming your own worst enemy. For design, the Lord of the Feast represents both excess and war. He should be armored in gilded armor, full of opulence, but also trying to keep his Fey-ish appearance, like the idea of him having, holes in hands, but it won't have a hand, hole in his stomach, but we won't have the stomach, some kind of bag with a hole in it, or any combination of the above to represent the fact it can never truly be satisfied. Every conquest must be followed by another greater one. Every feast must be made larger the next year, and so on. Crowns and other symbols of royalty fit too. Yeah. I will see what I can do for the mask itself. We'll need to research references and try and to both give the vision the original creator has for the idea, but also try to give my own interpretation to some certain extent. There we go. So these ones are the gods that we made and their respective supplicant. There is some clipping over here and over here, but the final image will not have that. So let me quickly post the new one that we made and also show the progress of every god and supplicant put together. Let me just quickly screen capture this one. I need to remember the name of the creator. Piece of Blooming Fields by Katrina. So let me do just that. Niece of Blooming Fields Supplicant. There we go. So far I'm really satisfied with this result. Do you guys think they are a good combination? Like, when put together, do you think they give the idea of being related to the respective god? I think it is. Let me send this one as well. Good. Okay. Let me add this to the Discord as well. Let me find the... Okay. Next I will make the 8th mask with the respective supplicant, and it will, after this one, the main art will be completed. And after we complete those, there are a couple of minor art that I got as a request from one of the modders, which is let me see, an artifact image and an artifact image of the medallion of this supplicant over here, and a portrait of an entity which is similar to the portraits of armies and stuff like that. So after the 8th mask and the 8th supplicant, I will be doing those two minor things, and then, unless I will be requested more art, it will be officially finished for my part. Yeah, pretty satisfied with the result. Let me save this one. Now, technically we still have like 20 minutes. So what I think we'll dedicate these last 20 minutes, we'll start searching for some references without necessarily saving them, just to do some brainstorming for the theme of the next mask. Now let me switch to the reference section. So basically next time we'll do the same thing that we did with the rest of the masks. We'll add the description of the 8th mask, and then we'll grab some references. What I think may be interesting, I will ask the creator about it, is maybe use some of the references that I've already added for the scrapped versions, and maybe make a mixture of those plus something else. Because Lord of the Feast, the description, let me read it again. It said represents both excess and war. Should be armored in gilded armor. See, I wouldn't normally have a problem with it if we didn't already have a gilded sort of character, which is this one over here. I want to avoid or something in armor like over here. So I will need to think of something that will make it very different from all of the other ones and avoid having elements that are too similar to the others. Which is why I was thinking of reusing some of these scrapped references, and maybe do a mixture. I mean, we could try something with the armor, but I want to avoid making it too similar. I will need to ask about it with the creator, because I don't want to do something on my own that the original person who's had the idea might not like it. Actually, yeah, let's save this one for the next stream. I don't think it makes sense trying to do research right now, because it's best if I first talk to the guy and come to an agreement. I'll give my reasons why I think it's best to do it a certain way. Because let me explain briefly. I think that for something called Lord of the Feast, something that needs to increasingly do more and more, conquer more, eat more. Let me see if there is something about eating. Powerful, aggressive human empire via unique Fey blood mechanics. Both excess and war. It makes sense to be something with armor. But maybe because I need to also think about what type of mask to give it, right? And I don't want to fall into the into something too cliche in terms of themes. At least with these others, I've tried to be as less generic as possible in terms of the design. For example, Painter of Winds, I gave it this Middle Eastern look, even if normally speaking it wouldn't be correlated to anything about the wind. But I sort of played into the type of clothing that may move with the wind or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, Lady of the Autumn Rot. I played with the name, so there is a bit of interpretation in order to create something unique. And I want to try something similar with this Lord of the Feast. But again, I'll need to check it with the main creator. Overall, very happy with these results. I cannot wait to see them actually in game. Very, very happy. Right now in the shared file, in the shared Google Drive, there's only the gods. Now I will be adding the supplicants as well. Although there's something that I need to do some cleanup, because I'm noticing that these versions they are quite dirty. Maybe not here, but I need to clean up some things. Oh well, yeah, there is plenty of time to do that. What can I say? Very productive stream. I know it's ending a bit earlier than usual, but the time left is really it's really not enough to do anything with a considerable amount of progress, let's say. So it's best if we continue this project with the new mask on Monday. Until that, I will ask a few things to the original creator and hopefully reach an agreement in terms of the style and design of the god itself, and subsequently the supplicant. Really happy with how the results have come so far, and especially really happy about the support that you guys gave me during this whole 3 months of working on this project over here. Really happy. So for the program, tomorrow we'll start a new casual drawing, spinning the wheel and see what theme will come up. And then on Monday we will start designing the 8th and final mask and see where this brings us. This main project is ever coming closer to an end. If it will end for me, I think I will dedicate all of 4 streams to smaller projects, like I've been doing during Wednesday and Saturday streams. But yeah, we'll see. In the meantime, I'll also work on the 100 subscriber special. Again, I'm not sure if I managed to make it in time, but it will come out. It won't be nothing serious or nothing particularly content rich, but that one will be reserved for the episode 1 of the animated series. So yeah, this has been quite a stream. Very happy with the result that we came with this last supplicant. Main project is ever coming closer to a conclusion, at least on the artistic side. But that one will be for Monday. Tomorrow we'll spin the wheel and see a new drawing at 3 p.m. That said, this has been The Void Executive, and I wish you guys a pleasant night. See you tomorrow.